Hi, I'm Dr. Gary Sachs, and I'm here with Dr. Madison Saylor. We are both chiropractors here at Sachs Wellness Center. We thought today we would talk a little bit with each other about what's happened since the beginning of chiropractic, which was in 1895. They're kind of, it was overshadowed, but last year was the 125th birthday of chiropractic, but with the pandemic going on,
we didn't really hear about it.
Didn't really hear much about it. So we thought we're going to take a minute here and just talk a little bit about it. So in 1895, what happened that really was the birth of chiropractic was that Dr. Well, I guess he wasn't a doctor then.
True.
But there was a janitor that had a hearing problem, and he thought that maybe there's some connection between the nerve that leads to the ears and this man's hearing problem. And when he made what we now call a chiropractic adjustment, his hearing returned.
He being D.D. Palmer.
He being D.D. Palmer.
Our founder.
The founder of chiropractic. And that was the beginning of it all, to realize that there's some connection between what's going on with the nerves as they exit the spine and what's happening really with the rest of the body. So it hasn't all been roses.
Unfortunately not.
Along the way.
Unfortunately not.
So there were a lot of trouble for the early chiropractors. The medical association didn't like the idea that there was this completely different approach to healthcare. And so a lot of chiropractors, particularly in the early 1900s, were actually persecuted. Some of them were put in jail. Thousands actually were put in jail. And mostly the crime was practicing medicine without a license.
Correct.
They never wanted to practice medicine. They wanted to practice chiropractic, but that's what they were doing. So time went on. States started to actually license chiropractors.
Became more recognizable.
Yeah. So then it's hard to say you're practicing medicine without a license when you have a license that says you're practicing chiropractic and you're doing what the license says you can do.
Right.
So that was like a big milestone, for chiropractic to take. So, and I feel like I'm kind of giving you this history lesson as if I was there. No, I have been around this for almost 50 years, but not the 125.
Right.
So just wanted to make that clear.
Yes. But then there was the monumental Wilkes trials that actually propelled us forward. The actual trials against chiropractors and figuring out if we were practicing chiropractic or medicine, and fortunately chiropractors were able to win in that favor and move forward even past that. So. And
I was around for most of that.
Okay.
Actually. So, that was in response to the AMA, American Medical Association, started a committee called the Anti-Quackery Committee.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's what they called it. And it was under the Iowa Plan, and stated as a goal was to eliminate chiropractic. That was their goal. So this antitrust lawsuit started, as you mentioned, with Dr. Wilkes and others. And it took, I forgot, 14, 15 years.
It was a long one.
Going through the courts, but they won. And so it was deemed that the American Medical Association was trying to put chiropractic out of business and didn't have any reason to do it. I mean, there wasn't any reason for that.
No,
so
absolutely not.
that changed things a lot. That was another huge milestone.
Really glad that we won out on that, because I love being a chiropractor and I don't want to go to jail for doing it.
Yeah, I hear the food isn't very good.
No. I think even moving forward past that, I mean, chiropractors are still working in our profession to try to make it better for us and grow what we're able to do. I know that in, the last few years, the opioid epidemic has been a big problem. We were talking about the coronavirus pandemic, but I mean, we still have a lot of patients out there, people out there who are struggling with chronic pain, and, being prescribed too many prescription drugs can lead down a slippery slope. And it was actually really helpful to our profession when the government came out and said chiropractors are a great non-drug option for those in chronic pain. So to have that kind of backing against the profession, or for the profession I should say, was really monumental as well.
And it's quietly in our offices across the country, every time a chiropractor deals with pain in a natural way that helps a patient and they get out of pain, we're actually contributing to fighting the opioid epidemic. And it should be used more, and the government is actually trying to do that, but it's pushing uphill a little bit with that. So that was another great milestone to, first of all, be recognized. Along the way, we were recognized by Medicare, to actually have the government say, yes, we'll be glad to pay for your services because you are a recognized method of treating pain and other healthcare problems. So we've had these nice wins along the way.
Yes.
And just lately, as I think you were starting to go to, when the pandemic started last year, chiropractic was named as an essential service.
Which is huge compared to the beginning of this conversation when we talked about we were not even recognized as practitioners.
Yeah.
So to be classified as essential during something so crazy like this pandemic was really huge.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to elaborate, especially for you guys at home that might not know. I mean, me and Dr. Sachs were talking about all the gains that we've made so far, but chiropractic, we still have gains to make. I know that just as recently as when I was in school several years ago, about 3 or 4 now, I had the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. and go talk to congressmen and lobby. Medicare does pay for adjustments, but they don't pay for chiropractic exams, something that we are required to do, but Medicare won't pay for it. So that was part of my mission when I went to DC to talk to the congressman, is to say, hey, I'm a chiropractor, I really want to help all these patients, but my time is valuable, and if you're going to pay for an adjustment, can we please be paid for the exam too, just like your doctors or any other medical doctor, any profession. They get paid for their exams. Why shouldn't chiropractors? So that's still something that we're working towards, and it's going through the ranks. But again, the pandemic kind of threw things off a little bit, but I'm hoping once things smooth back out again, we'll start to see more progress on that bill. So.
Similarly, although chiropractors are now in something like 130 VA hospitals.
Yes.
But yet, if you are a retired veteran and you have that insurance that is afforded to you, that doesn't cover chiropractic.
Unfortunately, not
and
right now.
It just seems like that's so strange. If you're in active service and you go to the VA, no problem. So there's a few things like that, and they're just remnants, of the past. But also, I'd have to say another thing that I've seen in the years that I've been in practice is that it is much more common to have somebody's medical doctor refer somebody to us. When I first started, a lifetime ago, that didn't happen. I mean, in fact, it was quite the opposite. They would be discouraged. And now it's pretty normal, especially with the younger doctors, I think. So.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed with the younger ones too. I've worked with some medical doctors talking back and forth with some of our patients, like, hey, they need to come see you for this, this, and this, and then it's like, well, maybe sometimes I think they need to go back. So to have that open line of communication and not have that pushback from the medical doctors has been really helpful for the patient. Yeah.
There's so many studies now, and I think that really helps, that shows how effective chiropractic care is for musculoskeletal conditions. We know that actually the nervous system runs everything in the body, and it affects much more than that, but we're kind of inching our way and saying, okay, let's, if you're going to make us backache and neckache doctors, then okay, let's show how good we are.
That's right.
At that.
That's right.
Not only effective, but cost.
Yeah.
The cost is significantly less. People end up getting much fewer surgeries and end up being in the hospital way less time. So I think that's kind of our history and where we are today. We're very proud and happy to work with our patients and see the success rate that we do see with people. So if you have questions about chiropractic or questions about our practice, feel free to call the clinic at 989-732-7000 or check us out on our website, www.sacswellnesscenter.com.